All right. I'm going to start by pouring a wee bit of this High West bourbon. Now, bourbon's not really their main thing. It's actually the only bourbon that they make on a consistent basis. They're more of a rye producer. And yeah, so this is okay, I would say.
It's okay.
This is not the best bourbon out there. I'm just prefacing.
Why you say? Why?
It's okay. It's fine. They even say that this is fine. They're not super stoked on it. Are you okay with that?
Okay,
your time.
with the whiskey or my mic?
No. I'm asking if you're okay with the mic.
I never can get it,
Take
bro.
your time.
I never.
We're
It's me versus this fucking mic every fucking
we've got time,
week.
so adjust.
I'm good.
Great.
I know we like to see each other, and then I don't want it in my face when
I
we're
get
recording.
it.
It's fucking stupid.
I agree. It's a lot to navigate. Shows they don't make themselves. All right. So as I was saying, High West, it's their bourbon. It's fine. It's not the best bourbon. I apologize, but you guys can get into it and taste a little bit of it.
But High West does come highly recommended, though.
So I'm a huge High West fan. As far as like American whiskey is concerned, it's probably my favorite distiller. But like I said, bourbon's not really what they're known for. They make a bourbon, but their portfolio as a whole is comprised mostly of rye. That's kind of what they're known for.
Okay.
And like I've been out there and I've talked to them about it a little bit. They even downplay their bourbon to a certain extent, just because they know that like rye is more their stronghold. So, yeah, they use it in a lot of mixed drinks out there at the distillery. It's
You know where? Oh, Utah.
Yeah.
You been to Utah?
Yep.
You did. We talked about you going to Utah, didn't we?
Yeah, I went out there just to see them. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
y'all gotta cut the check now.
Yeah, rye is like, well, we've kind of dogged their bourbon. So
I mean, it's not like
it's not bad. It's
all
just
personal
their
preference.
rye is like they're stronger of their efforts. I had recently had somebody who was like, "Oh, I got High West. You told me to get it." They were out.
You told me to get some. I got
and they
some.
were like, "I got the bourbon," and I was like, "Oh no."
I got the rye and I drank it in like 2 days.
Yeah, the double rye is like their entry level like rye, which is great. It's not super expensive, relatively easy to track down. It's very good. We've had it on the show before, which is why we're not drinking it right now. We've already done it. Not that we won't drink it again, but anyway. Let's dive right into Moon Knight, because that's kind of really where I want to kick things off. He's passing that back over to you. What's up, Rue? I watched the last episode. Did you watch the last episode? Last night, episode 5?
Yeah, wife and I watched it last night.
Okay, great. So I also watched it last night with the wife. Not going to spend a lot of time on it, but we'll breeze through it real quick. I have 2 theories that I'm feeling pretty good about. One, either I think it's a huge miss, or 2, I think that episode 6 kicks off Doctor Strange in some way, shape, or form. Because I feel as if this story is so far from over that it's like almost impossible to tie it up in one episode, because there's only one episode left. So I'm wondering if at some point in episode 6, if Doctor Strange or somebody else doesn't get involved, and then this transitions into like a prequel for Doctor Strange, given that it will end the week that Doctor Strange comes out. So those are my hot takes. One, I'm either not into it, or there's more that we just don't know about. So you tell me. You're the expert. Fill me in.
I think the synonymy. That's the word, right?
Doesn't sound like a word.
That's not a word either.
What are you trying to describe?
Synonymy?
Sounds
like a sea anemone.
The crossover.
Continuity?
No, the crossover of the overlapping of
Movie
Moon Knight
and show.
I think there is possibly something there.
Okay.
With it ending and then Doctor Strange starting.
Because they've not done that directly yet, have they?
No. I don't know. honestly, I don't know.
Like I'm wondering,
like this show doesn't give us any.
It's very bizarre to me.
It doesn't give us any. It's not really giving us anything that ties it directly to the MCU besides those very small Easter eggs it gave us with about Kang.
Yeah,
and it's very isolated, and I don't know, man. Like I'm not saying you're wrong. I really don't have a clue. I would feel like it should.
Yeah, I mean, he's really been in the suit practically 0% of the time that this show.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's been like there's been nothing to even.
That's my only dislike about the show. But I think Oscar Isaac, the acting, he should be up for a fucking Emmy. But like
the acting's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I think it's suitable. It's not Leo and The Revenant or anything, but it's good. Like it's fine. It's passable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I keep waiting.
Really don't have an answer.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop and for me to be like, okay. Because if I'm being honest, in every other Marvel TV show, I've had that experience where I've been like, I don't know if I'm all here. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm in. This is good. Like even with like Captain America and Winter Soldier and whatever it was.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, yeah.
And Winter Soldier, that one, yeah. Even that, which I was like, this is not the strongest effort. Eventually I was like, okay, this at least... It connects. It gets there. It gets there at the end. I'm bought in. This feels like with one episode left, there's no way for them to recover. The only way they could recover is if like 40 minutes in, Doctor Strange like kicks the door in on this dude's mind and is like, "You're coming with me." And then all of a sudden it's just like, "We'll see you in theaters" or something.
I think this is their project to launch from platform to theater, like that inverse. So I think the next time we see him will be on the big screen, and then he'll come back to the small screen.
I wonder, again, it's Disney and Marvel, and they have all the fun, so they can do whatever they want. But if this is all the show is, I'd be hard-pressed to imagine they'd come back.
Nah,
I don't know what the turnout is for it. I mean, like the reviews have been okay. They've been fine.
Yeah.
They're fine.
It's fresh, right?
Yes, I think it's like an 80%, like mid-80s or something,
yeah.
which it is, but I don't... It's hard to imagine people clamoring for more Moon Knight if this is all they're offering.
Yeah, he's got to be put in a dynamic where we can see him in more action than this, because this is
to actually be a superhero.
This is very A Beautiful Mind, puzzling Inception type deal, which is okay, man. Like and that's fine. And again, my only critique is that we've only seen him in the suit 2.5 out of the 4 episodes. Like,
Moon Knight has really done very little, if anything.
He's we haven't seen him do anything spectacular.
And it was, I think, the last episode, last night, was the first time. Is that the first time they've referenced him as Moon Knight?
Khonshu says, "Rise and be my Moon Knight."
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the official like seal, the stamp on him and his character, I feel like, within the show.
Yeah.
And that was the only time he appeared in the suit last night, and that was more of a flashback.
That was a flashback.
Than the actual suit. Yeah.
I mean, I think that part is cool. I think Marvel's done a fantastic job with the titling threading, and when I say that, they have in the comic books, like a person's name is just their name, right? The Scarlet Witch, Moon Knight. But what they've done in the MCU is created kind of more of an architectural title to the characters, where their name is a title. The Scarlet Witch, Rise and be my Moon Knight. Captain America, passing the mantle. So there's it moves. It's not something that's completely integral to the character that brought the character to the screen. Mm-hmm. It is a mantle that can be passed on, which I think is amazing.
All right.
But other than that, man, I got to see him in the suit. But I'm hearing like episode 5 is supposed to be like Loki's season finale, where it was just turned up and it was just...
You're saying the next episode?
Yeah, episode 6.
Episode 6, yeah. Okay.
It's supposed to be the one where it's just on rails the entire time.
Okay.
But
all right.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other superhero Marvel news? I feel like you had a few things on your list. Was it CinemaCon? CinemaCon?
Yeah, man.
Comic-Con?
CinemaCon happened.
A lot of things out there.
So
around.
Disney released their 2022-2023 slate.
Let's run through it.
Did you see the slate?
I have read about the slate. I have seen coverage and news of this event.
Let's see.
If that's what you're asking.
So on it is, so if you're not aware, if you've been sleeping under a rock, Marvel is owned by Disney, and they released their entire 2023 slate. So it's Lightyear, Bob's Burgers, Thor, The Banshees of Inisherin, which I have no clue what that is. A re-release of the original Avatar.
Yep.
Black Panther. I guess I should have said the dates, but it's literally almost a movie a month, so I'm up to November. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Amsterdam, don't know what that is. The Menu, Disney original probably. Strange World, another Disney original. Then Avatar 2, Way of the Water. The Marvels, which is Captain Marvel 2. Haunted Mansion, which is a remake of Haunted Mansion. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, we're up to May now. Indiana Jones, which looks like a reboot because it just says Indiana Jones.
I don't think it is. I mean, Harrison Ford's definitely in it. 100%.
Okay.
So
there's no like subtitle.
Yeah,
It
they
just
probably,
says,
they probably haven't released the official name yet. Like Avatar 2 was Avatar 2 for a long time.
It'd be kind of dope if they did it like what's that movie? The Titanic, where it's Harrison Ford chronic, like sitting down talking about how he became Indiana Jones, and then they get someone to play a young Indiana Jones, and he's just kind of like,
Well, maybe we might get that.
which would be cool, but like we said, I kind of want them to kind of not reboot it, but give us some more legs on that. The Little Mermaid with the Bailey sister, which one is it? Holly Bailey, and then the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania appears to be the last Marvel movie for 2023.
Okay.
In July. So, lots of stuff on there. Anything you excited about?
Well, sure. I feel like most of the Marvel films that are coming out in the next few months / 2023, I feel as if they're going to be solid. They feel like good characters.
Yeah.
Series, I suppose, if you will. Because are there any new, all original Marvel films, not Disney Plus, like not TV shows? Are there any character stories that are brand new coming up? Or are they all continuations?
All of that stuff is going to Disney Plus. So the Disney Plus lineup
is gonna get new characters.
Right,
yes.
it's not
But
included.
there's no tentpole films of like a new character that's coming out with like a whole new
Not that we're aware of,
Great.
but you know how they just kind of throw stuff in there. So
Yeah. So I feel like all of those stories are good, though. I'm a big fan of Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm all in on all those. So
Okay.
I'm excited about that. I think that looks good. I'm very excited to see what happens with Avatar 2. I actually had there was a brief moment where I thought maybe we would just like call a bunch of random people and ask whether or not they would go see Avatar 2. Because I
If
feel
they care,
like
yeah.
nobody cares.
Nobody
I
cares.
feel like no one cares.
I think people will care once they start seeing like the trailers and
Maybe.
yeah. But
Maybe.
Apparently they showed some footage of Avatar 2 Way of the Water.
And people were excited about
And
it. is what I read.
they're saying this shit is beautiful.
I don't doubt that, but I feel like the height of cinema and like theater technology and experience and all of that really peaked when Avatar came out, because there was a huge push to
rollout.
upgrade all the technology,
James
and new
Cameron,
projectors,
yeah.
and 3D,
It was turned
and
up.
sound, and it really was like the pinnacle of that, of that medium. And then I feel as if ever since then, it's totally died out. I don't know the last movie that came out in 3D. I don't know what it even was. I don't know if theaters even have 3D projectors anymore or are capable of it.
I hope not.
Is that gone? I mean, I know that this is going to be in 3D. They listed out like all of the different like formats that this is going to be coming out in, and it's like 12 or 15. It's something really absurd. There's like high frame rates in HDR, and then there's 3D and IMAX and all kinds of nonsense. So it's going to be to like
I think
a plethora of options.
the 3D experience is like so like 2005. Like
It feels like it, but I think
Do
James
not give
Cameron's he's gonna die on this hill.
do not give me a pair of 3D glasses. In a little
He's gonna be
plastic
giving them
bag.
back to you.
I do not.
We're
want
gonna
that
be
shit.
taking 3D glasses again in December and putting them on for 3.5
I know you're gonna
hours.
make me go see Avatar 2, and I'm like, yo,
the investment in the Avatar world is just so crazy to me that it was a decade ago that movie came out, and they have poured in so much money at this point. It's hard to imagine.
Let me explain why it bothers me so much. And we talk about this often. We talk about the archaic practices of movie theaters.
Oh, theaters are dog shit.
And then when I think about James Cameron forcing me to go to the theater and put on these ridiculous plastic frames to watch his movie, it's just, again, it's just like, are you guys in cahoots? Like, are you doing this on purpose?
I don't know.
Like, get with Facebook and get us some fucking Oculus glasses and make this a 4D VR experience.
Be careful what you ask for.
But if you're going to do it,
Then
go
do
all
it.
out.
Then-
You know what I'm
do
saying?
it.
Like,
Yeah, but the market, like, it's tough because the market's not there. You're going to have to require everybody buy Oculus glasses. Also, the Oculus platform is not that advanced. Like, the quality and the imagery and like the power behind it is not that impressive. It's okay. I've used it. Have you used one?
no,
Okay.
I'm scared of it.
So I've put one on and I've played the games. Like, I've done the thing, and it's fine. It's fine, but it doesn't look great.
Yeah, I'm not putting it on though.
No, like it doesn't. It's not like when you put on like an incredible like PS5 or 4 game or something like that. Like the graphics are like astonishing and it's like super amazing. The Oculus is like, okay, I'm wearing a headset,
But there's
and
more.
I'm
There's
playing
other
this
virtual
game.
reality, mixed reality, augmented reality hardware that you can go with.
Sure.
You know, like it's just James Cameron, you just make me so angry. Like you make us wait 10 years for the sequel, and now you're already talking about planning it up to number 5.
That was the biggest slip up. I
Yeah.
think the biggest slip up was the fact that they waited so long. And they have filmed like all of them at the same time.
And then you're gonna send me back to the theater and hand me these little plastic glasses.
It's incredible.
Like a fucking, I can't.
And theaters aren't ready for it. They're not.
No.
I've seen like basic movies in like
I saw
nice theaters or
3 movies.
supposedly nice theaters, and the experience has been terrible. I told you when I went to see The Northman, they had the aspect ratios all wrong, so all the subtitles
were
got
fucked
cut
off.
off.
But-
I don't know what like a third of the movie's dialogue was because AMC and White Marsh can't get the aspect ratios right.
Because there's teenagers working there.
That's my point, though.
Yeah. James Cameron is putting his franchise in the hands of teenagers and expecting for $100 million weekend.
Disney
with these little plastic glasses. I can't
Disney
get past the
just-
plastic glasses.
They gave him
Post-COVID, plastic.
they gave him a blank check, man, and there's no solution for this.
But apparently the movie's awesome. So
I don't doubt it. Again,
really
when you're
is-
at that event, the theater, the experience that you're like, the screen that you're watching is latest and greatest. It's calibrated. People are paying attention. Your experience is that of what the director or the filmmaker would want you to have.
Right.
But when you're, in White Marsh in Maryland at an AMC from 20 years ago, it's being run by, a couple of 12-year-olds.
my cousin Devontae.
It's going to be terrible. Nothing's in focus. The aspect ratios aren't right. The chairs don't work.
And Miss Barbara, you good, hon? You want some more butter?
Yeah.
Like it's just not. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Baltimore guy, so I love all that shit. But it's the way theaters are ran.
It's not built for the high success that they want this movie
No.
to have.
Like you can go see a Marvel blockbuster and probably have a good time at the White Marsh Theater. Like it'll probably be fine. But James Cameron's out here with like
High expectations.
all these like crazy technologies and high frame rates and HDRs and 3Ds and no,
HDRs
man.
and
No,
3Ds.
it's not going to work.
It's not.
Everything's going to be like shifted and all kind of skewed off and they're not going to be blue. They're going to be like, turquoise.
I will bet somebody $100 they're going to go try to see Avatar and there's going to be a subreddit. They ran out of 3D glasses and they couldn't see it.
Yeah, God, someone's going to be in there trying to sterilize all those. And they're not going to be sterilized. It's just going to be like, throw them in the bin and we'll clean them in the bag.
And repackage them.
Yeah. What a bizarre time that was, 3D movies. I had a 3D TV for a while. Did you ever get one of those? 3D?
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Like, not one that was 3D without glasses. There were a lot of TVs that they sold, that, and they still sell like a lot of TVs that have the technology. And then you get the glasses. And what's interesting about it is that experience is actually way better than the 3D experience in theaters, which was I always found interesting because everything is just more like fine tuned. So like I actually had the glasses that I had a Panasonic TV that came with glasses that you charged. They had batteries in them and you charge them. There's two different like ways of doing a 3D thing. There's one where like the glasses actually, like the lenses actually sync with the TV and there's like a synchronization process that happens and they like work together to create the 3D effect. It's very bizarre, but
Are you real?
yeah, dead serious. And then there's the other one, which is what you experience in theaters where like the glasses are like dumb. They're not like smart glasses
Yeah,
and they
they're
just like the lenses.
You could get them in McDonald's Happy
Correct.
Meal.
Yep. So I had this one, like the Panasonic thing, and you would have to like pair them and sync them up. And when you did it, it was pretty amazing, actually. It was really, really cool. It did not last long, though. They kind of discontinued it pretty shortly after.
I have to ask. Did you watch any porn with it?
No, because this was early on. None of that like existed at the time.
No, it was just JPEGs and that back then.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah. This came out, so like this was when Avatar was coming to home video, they like everybody made this big push to put 3D TVs out, and you would get like the Avatar sets that had the glasses or the whatever,
the box set.
Yes,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. This was that time.
Damn.
So anyway, moving on. Anything else good come out of that event? Avatar 2, I feel like, was the biggest thing that everybody was like raving about. I know there was a lot of footage from the Marvel movies that got shown, but nothing that was revealing. Like, we knew all those things were.
Yeah, Avatar 2. Jake Sully, that's his name, right?
Yeah,
is living with the. He has a family now, and they're apparently the theory is that now there's going to be a war between them and like the avatars that live underwater, kind of like Atlantis.
Dope.
Was Way of the Water kind of type thing.
Let's go.
And him kind of now being fully immersed as an avatar rather than being a human. So we're going to get to walk with him in that. And like, don't get me wrong, man, the Avatar was hot. That shit was hot. That movie was fire. So like,
yes, it was.
I'm sure this will be good. I'm just not excited about it because
It's 10 years ago.
10 years
That's
ago.
the big piece.
Yeah.
I would have been excited had this come out like 3
5.
years, 2-3 years after the first one. I'd been like, okay, great. Like I'm still in. Like let's go. Let's do this.
I feel like I feel like James Cameron was kind of waiting for the technology to catch up to kind of do what he really wanted to do.
Maybe we'll find out if it works for him.
I heard a lot of what the problems were with George Lucas and Star Wars. Like a lot of the technology for things he wanted to do didn't exist.
Yeah.
So they had to actually build the shit like for his movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is kind of getting that same effect, but
Come down off your high horse a little bit.
come on, bro, just make a movie.
You just
Like,
make some movies already.
Come on, man. Netflix made Danny DeVito a young man and an old man in one movie.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
James Cameron's been like an underwater studio for the last decade. Like, come up for air. Did you watch the documentary where he
Was
went?
in the sub?
Yes.
No. Disney Plus? Nat
No.
Geo?
So
It's old.
this was a while ago. Was it like the Challenger?
Yeah.
I seen it. I seen it.
He gets in the yellow sub and goes to the bottom of the what is it? Mariana Trench. Is that what it's called? Yeah, that was actually pretty sick. That was pretty cool.
Will Smith just did that on his show.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right.
He got into like a
Sub.
Yeah, smaller immersive sub. He didn't smack anybody.
Yeah, there's nobody else to smack.
There's nobody smacking there.
They're trying to find any activity they can that he can do by himself right now.
And they just sink to the bottom. And like they look at like all of the bioluminescent critters.
Would you go down there?
No, absolutely not.
No?
No.
What if they were like, we've done this 1,000 times.
No.
You want to go to the bottom?
Fuck no.
Is there anybody that could convince you to go down to the bottom with them?
Depends on what we're doing down there.
Like if somebody was like, like if somebody like walked by and they were like, hey dude, you want to hop on? We're going to go down to the bottom of this. Is there a person that you'd be like, hell yeah, I've got to do this.
Tom
Gotta
Cruise.
go.
Tom Cruise is like Courtney.
Okay, Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise can get me to do it.
All right.
I think Denzel could talk me into it. He'd do the, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And I'd be like,
come on, man. You believe in God, right?
Right, all right.
Like yeah, there's got to be people
Yeah.
you'd go out on a limb for.
Yeah.
Just to like be in the experience with them. Because even if you died alongside them, then like that's
Oh, so you know you lost me.
kind of a way to go out.
Yeah. So Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington. I'm trying to think of some. Zoe Deschanel could definitely get me to go down there.
Interesting.
No pun.
Interesting.
I'd do anything Selma Hayek asks. I'd do anything Holly Berry
What I'm
asks.
learning is that this is a pretty long list, so I don't think it would be that hard to convince you.
It's because these people probably would never ask me, so I can make it. Like, like who's okay? You'd go.
Oh, I would
you
go.
Would just go.
Yeah, I would go by myself.
What?
Yeah, dude.
No. I'm not. I'm not allowing you to go.
No, I would go by myself, dude.
No. You'd get like halfway down, and you'd
If
be.
a scientist wanted to go with me, James Cameron wanted to go with me, you wanted to go with me.
Once it gets
dude.
unnaturally dark, no.
Oh, I would go. Now, my only
I'm
like
hitting the walkie like Taylor.
I think the one thing that I would
get me outta
struggle
here.
with the most, and I don't know what the timeline is on going down there. Like, is it a quick experience, or am I down there for like 3 days? That's what I want.
It's not quite 3 days, but in terms of like hours to get down there.
Yeah. Like,
it takes a minute.
Okay.
And then it takes even longer to come back up.
So I wonder if they've got like Netflix or something.
I am terrified of the ocean.
I would watch something. I would
Absolutely
need.
terrified.
That's the problem. Is if I was just sitting there staring at like nothing,
That's
I
what
would start to get
terrifies
wigged
me.
out a little bit. So I would need something like a phone or an iPod or I don't know. I would have to have something that I can.
You don't
do
have
in
any
the
service
meantime.
down there.
But
No, but like if I had it
nature is your
downloaded,
iPod.
if I had it downloaded on my phone,
All right. Hypothetical question.
I'm like watching some HBO,
What's
and then
your-
the episode's over, and they're like, "Welcome to the bottom of the trench," and you're like, "Okay, this is awesome."
What's your bottom of the trench playlist?
Music wise, I don't know. Never thought about it.
Are you drinking?
I don't.
Wait, are
I'm
you
not
allowed
sure
to drink?
what kind of sub is
I'm not
this?
sure that's safe.
Is this like the?
What kind of sub
Is
are we
this
in?
like the Four Seasons?
No,
Like-
because the sub that I saw, it's like you're just in like a little.
It's
like
like a
thing.
bubble. It's like you're in a teardrop and you're floating down.
Yeah, I don't know. Bottom line, I would definitely go. I'm not sure what my playlist would be. I'm unsure about that. I've always said if I could go to space, I would, hands down.
I think
I wanted to apply to be on Inspiration 4 because they were like, they were like auctioning off that one seat, like for whatever. And I was like, I'll go. I'll do this.
Isn't that the one that doesn't come back?
No. That's the Mars 1 or whatever, which turned out to be, I think, like a fraud or whatever that was. There was like that one.
This is going to
Mars
space, right?
Inspiration 4 was the thing that SpaceX sent up, and that came back.
Okay.
And
but
that
they
was
didn't
just
even
like,
break. They didn't even break like, but so far outside of the atmosphere, right?
they went up there for a few days, and it was space.
I'm
enough,
thinking of the one
dude.
that Bezos just did.
They went on
Bezos
It was
was
a space
different.
party.
He didn't
bus.
really go to space.
SpaceX went pretty far out, and
Okay.
Inspiration 4 did like they were up there for a few days, and they came back. It was like the first like all civilian flight or whatever.
All right, would you go to space?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wanted
okay.
to apply to go on this trip.
Yeah.
Because they were allowing, like, you could buy your way on if you were super rich, or they were like raffling off a seat. And like some teacher in Arkansas or something got it. Anyway, I wanted to go, and Emily was like, absolutely not. You cannot apply to that.
God,
She shut me down.
I
Not
don't.
that they would have picked me anyway, but
I think I'd go to
I would've
space.
gone.
I'd definitely go to space before I'd go to the bottom of the ocean.
I think both are equally as problematic.
Equally.
It's going to get loud for a second.
It's fine. Give it's time to.
Yeah, no, I think both are two extremes that I can leave to the experts.
My problem with the ocean is I can at least see what's happening in space.
I don't think is that true. I mean, it's pretty dark up there.
Yeah, but
I mean, I guess that's
I
something
can
came by
see
the
Earth.
window.
I can see the sun. I can see the stars.
Yeah, but you have lights when you're down in the ocean.
You can maybe see 2 feet in front of you, and by then it's too late.
Okay.
And then a whale is eating the ship, and then you're done.
Well, I mean,
I don't think
by
a
the time you're
whale is
down
gonna
that
eat
low, there's no whales.
What
Yeah.
is down there? We don't know.
Great question.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not going.
I don't
either
know
way.
what's up there, but I'll take my chances up there.
Are you more confident of aliens coming after you, or more confident of underwater?
See, this is the thing.
Mysteries.
If an underwater mystery kidnaps me, they have I listen, either way, underwater in space, if something kidnaps me in either or, they already have the advantage because they were able to kidnap me. The problem is, I'm guessing underwater, I don't have the lung capacity to swim back to the top.
No.
And if they're underwater, they can obviously
Well,
have
who's
the tech-
underwater. Aquaman's not down there for you, bud.
Nobody's. You don't know that.
We don't know who's up there.
We don't know what's down there either. Fucking Loch Ness monsters
This-
sleep on the floor. We don't fucking know that.
This really went off the rails.
It's dangerous stuff.
All right, so we get it. You're not going anywhere unless a list of like 400 famous people ask you, and then in that case, you're
It's
down.
got to be someone super famous.
I would argue that like there are people on that list that are not super famous.
Tom Cruise.
Zoe Deschanel is not super famous.
She did Elf, bro.
She's famous, but not super famous.
Elf.
I guarantee you, if I went into a grocery store right now, if I went to Super Fresh and I asked 10 people,
Who did?
9 people would say Zoe who. I guarantee it.
And you
I'd
haven't
have to-
seen Elf? That's my comeback.
I'd have
every
to
time.
pitch. Yes, if I was like, "Have you seen Elf?" They'd be like, "Yeah, I saw Elf." I'd be like, "The
She sang
brunette
the
girl."
song, right?
And they'd be like, "Oh,
500 Days of Summer. Like, come on, y'all.
But if I was like Tom Cruise, they'd all be like, "Oh, hell yeah, Tom Cruise."
Well,
So again, I'm the scale of. I'm just saying,
all right.
it's
This is the woman that could get you to go to
space.
space.
She's got to sing the
Oh
song
no,
from Elf.
underwater.
Un-
He would go
to the
down
bottom of the ocean?
She's got to sing the song from Elf. You seen Elf? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's got to sing the song. The Christmas song.
That's it.
Expectation.
Like
Yeah.
that's the only requirement.
That would calm me enough to do this trip.
All right,
So weird. Everybody's got
it's
their
very
kink.
good.
Wow. All right.
It's all good.
Speaking of Tom Cruise,
Yeah, let's go.
Mission Impossible 7.
Yeah. Did they release? I think there was like a little footage, right? That they
CinemaCon,
dropped?
more CinemaCon stuff. Yeah.
Little footage of that. None of this stuff is out yet, which is like always a huge bummer.
I think having the release of this trailer stuff is a small stepping stone to get us back to normal. I think it's needed.
No, I think that what I'm saying is it's a bummer that like I can't see any of it.
Oh,
we're
not.
I'm reading what other people are seeing, which is terrible.
I don't even think we're F-list celebrities yet.
No.
So we wouldn't even get an invite.
I'm just like I'm reading people are tweeting about what they're seeing, and I'm like, oh man, that's cool.
Yeah, I saw a tweet about someone who talked about what they saw in Wakanda Forever, and they were like, yeah, this is hot.
Yeah,
And I was like,
I think that they need to
Damn.
like whatever is at CinemaCon, just put it out same day.
it's also,
Just put it out same day.
we're not
so we can all see
post-COVID
it.
yet. So
Let's all
like,
see it.
you could have invited people virtually. But I guess that's a NDA thing. Like, you can't really like put that type of,
I'd be a lot more excited if I could see some of the footage. That's all I'm saying.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Mission Impossible thing. That's great. Part 1. What is it called? Death something.
I don't know. Fact checking Zay.
Anyway.
Filling in for
Mission Impossible.
fact checking Josh.
Here we go.
But it's part 1 of part 2. There's 2 parts. This is part 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be great. I think it's gonna be good. He does a good job. I think those movies are great. No problem with them.
I'm reading here, and apparently it's called Mission Impossible 7.
That's just it. I don't know what the
No,
subtitle is.
there's like a
They're-
name
they're-
for it. Something death something.
Their project titling hasn't
something part 1.
It's always Mission Impossible number subtitle, whatever the movie is. It's not like how Marvel does like Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange 2 is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
There it is.
There it is.
Dead
There we go.
Reckoning. I knew it had something to
I saw that
do with
earlier
dying or
today,
dead.
too.
Okay,
Just
great. Very good.
Are you ready to fasten your seatbelts?
Are we talking about Fast and the Furious? Is that your dad joke? You interjected it halfway through the episode?
Fasten your seatbelts, yeah. Fast and Furious 10.
I would love to know why he stepped down. Context, the director of Fast and the Furious.
Justin Lin
10,
decided he was done. Like
stepped
days
down.
after shooting.
Something had to have happened.
He got tired of hearing about family.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I would.
That's a strange thing.
Something tragic happened.
To start working on a movie and then 3 days later, like, you know what? This just isn't for me.
Something happened.
So, the same thing happened with Doctor Strange. Who was the original director? And then Sam Raimi stepped in.
Yeah.
But
Family emergency.
yeah, something had to have.
He got arrested.
But he's still on board as a producer, which I feel like is kind of a
Sure.
consolation to kind of.
Correct.
So
Yeah, he kind of would have to be at this stage in the game. I mean, he's involved to a certain extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if he just checked out altogether, he would still have had some role in producing it.
Zay, can you pull up the Fast 10 cast list? Like, my theory is there's someone on the cast that he doesn't get along with. That's my theory.
No, they would get rid of whoever the cast person was before they would get rid of him.
Anyone on this cast is way bigger.
He's
than Justin.
because he's so like instrumental in that series. He's directed like the last couple.
Did he?
Yes, he's a part of why it's so successful. It's a financial blockbuster. Like
I
there's
heard
so much. money
Michael
being
Bay
invested.
is on the short list.
There's no way Michael Bay is doing it.
I don't want to see anything from Michael Bay in this part of my adulthood.
Isn't he still making Transformers movies?
No, it done.
Isn't it funny how like some filmmakers, like legendary ones for that matter, will just like get stuck at some point? Like Michael Bay did like 7 Transformers movies.
He did,
And he's done some real heaters in the day.
Yeah, he did.
But like he did one Transformers movie and just like it broke his mind. He never got out of
And
it.
those Transformers movies, like the first one was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just kept getting more and more ridiculous
Yes.
and made absolutely no sense. And he's like, nah, fuck that. Make the car dragon that can
Yes.
fly.
What?
First of all, you're getting away from like the Transformers. Like,
Oh, it's so bad.
now he's just like, I don't care. Give the Tyrannosaurus wheel legs. Like he's just wilding. Like he just was like,
It's the check.
yeah,
It has to be. the
Everybody has just lost their minds. This is a great segue. Are you done with Transformers?
Yeah,
Anything
absolutely,
else? Okay, great. So this is a great segue to the new Jurassic Park because a bunch of that stuff dropped. Also,
World
at this event.
Dominion World Dominion.
Jurassic World Dominion, I think is what it's called. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why someone hasn't stopped them. Have you seen the trailer?
check.
Yes.
They are like befriending.
So the dinosaurs live like
like-
wild animals now, like in the world.
Yeah. But they're like befriending like velociraptors and then like talking to them and working with them.
I
and
tell you one thing, Taylor.
making
I walk
promises
out of
to
here
them.
and a fucking velociraptor runs past my car.
Send me the space.
Put me in the sub.
It's such a bizarre.
It makes no.
They've gone so it's so crazy.
Now they're just
At
all
this
over the
point.
world.
Yeah, they're like in Rome, and there's like gangs that have
Gangs of
like
dinosaurs.
velociraptors like as their like muscle.
Like first of all,
And Chris Pratt's there, like doing God knows what, but he's on a motorcycle and it's chasing him on a motorcycle. He's like fighting it on a motorcycle in the streets of Rome or something.
makes no sense.
What is happening?
But to me, Jurassic Park has never made any sense. And then especially after the reboot, when I was like finally, because it came out when I was really, really young.
Well, yeah, the first one
original.
came out when I was really young.
Yeah. So when I got to see it as an adult, I was like,
which they
This
did.
is stupid.
They did age very well.
I think
honestly.
the original concepts around Jurassic Park for the original ones were pretty decent, all things considered. We have this island. We're going to try something out. It really goes bad. And now we have this island full of crazy dinosaurs. That all
Which
makes sense.
was the first one. And then the second
Correct.
one was we got to do damage control.
Yes.
And
Which,
then what was
Yep.
the third one?
the third one was the plane like crash landed on the island. Like the sightseers crashed on the island.
Oh, they
and
were
then-
like, oh,
and
let's
then-
go check it out.
Yeah, and it was like a wealthy family, and then they were like, that was like the thing.
That's right.
And then they like paid mercenaries, and then they brought back some of the original cast. They were like, we've got to get on the island and save these kids,
And
save
then-
this kid or whatever.
the soft reboot was they redid the park.
So it was not a reboot; it was just a continuation.
Yeah.
like, it takes place on another island. So in the original like series, there were multiple islands that dinosaurs existed on. They would use certain islands as like staging areas and like areas to basically like raise the dinosaurs, and they would bring them onto the main island, which is where the park was. So Jurassic World is a continuation of the Jurassic Park series, but it takes place on another island. So like the idea is that like they scrap, like I think the idea was that they scrapped, or no, it takes place on the same island because they go to the old visitor center.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's
So they
where,
go to the
that's
old
where the
visitor
kid
center.
first opened and lets out the
Yes.
re-wake or whatever.
I'm still right about the multiple island thing. But yes,
I
so
believe
it
you are,
definitely is a continuation. Anyway, I don't believe for 2 seconds if dinosaurs like that, if they, I get it, you bring them back to the mainland, sure, whatever, I get it. If they get out, there's no way
The human race can.
There's no way that they are
We gotta
multiplying
Yeah.
and breeding and coexisting in like neighborhoods with families. The military is they're coming in heavy.
hard.
Yeah.
And then
This is not happening.
Yeah, they are sending the National Guard in, and they say shoot
Yes.
any dinosaur you see.
Correct.
Like,
And
it's
there's
not
no way
happening.
that these aren't tagged and tracked. Like you would know,
They-
4 dinosaurs escaped. Let's go get them and kill them.
You mean to
via
tell me
GPS.
you can geolocate a hornet that made its way from Asia, one hornet, and find out where its nest is, but you can't track down some fucking velociraptors
Yeah.
that
This is
are
what I'm saying.
terrorizing
It
fucking Owens
is
Mills?
completely off the rails. The second Jurassic World the premise was like a haunted house almost, like ride, where the velociraptor was stalking the children through the mansion. It's an insane concept. This is absurd. This is not how it should go. Terrible direction. The original series I thought was great.
But the
I just,
power of family.
my God. Even in the Jurassic Park Lost World, where they do get the dinosaur back on the mainland, they do bring it. Remember, it's like going through that neighborhood, like is outside that kid's window. Even conceptually, that makes way more sense because they, again, what would happen is what happened. They were like, crap, one of these got out. We have to do everything that we can to get it back. And that's what they did.
It just doesn't make.
You would never be in a situation where there's dinosaurs just wreaking havoc all over the United States suddenly.
I don't. There's no resolve. It just ends, and they're like, "Well, we know there's going to be a sequel because they didn't get all the dinosaurs." Like it's just a domino effect
Kind of like
of
that,
franchising.
That Planet of the Apes, where it's just like, well, where does it stop?
Right. Like even after the third Planet of the Apes, it just kind of was like, okay, well, what now? Like, are they gonna start working at Target? Like it doesn't kind of give a ending to the apes thing. They just kind of have a camp. You know, there's never.
There's a lot of reasons to find your way back onto the island of dinosaurs. That's all that I'm saying. I don't think you have to bring them out and then like populate them amongst,
people.
Like, how does one even live amongst dinosaurs?
I don't know. I guess we're going to find out in this third movie. But every time I see a trailer for it, I'm like, this looks like such trash. They do really well, and people seem to like them, though. But it feels like it desecrates.
I'm not
the
going to go
original
see
series.
it, but as soon as it comes out, I'll watch it.
Yeah. Like the idea of Chris Pratt living in the woods in his cabin, and he has velociraptors as pets.
When you
And
say it
then-
out loud, yeah, it just
And then
makes
in the
absolutely
trailer,
no sense.
a gang or
Of other velociraptors.
or other no, this is like a rival faction or gang of people kidnap the one velociraptor's baby.
Okay.
And then Chris Pratt makes a promise to the mom velociraptor
That he's gonna go get
that
it.
he's going to go get the baby back.
Yeah.
That's in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the concept.
In the beginning of the trailer,
I didn't see this.
they're
in the
running
trailer.
across a salt flat or something on top of some dinosaur.
This is
Racing. It's
ridiculous.
almost like
On top
they're
of
racing.
another
It's
dinosaur.
ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing I've seen.
It's the Fast and the Furious of
How
dinosaurs.
can people watch it and
The
not
power of family.
laugh? The original Jurassic Park was like scary and cool and seemed
Yeah, bro. When
special
that T-Rex
and, like,
came out the
dope.
first time, like I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And he looks good.
This is a joke. This is a complete joke.
Yeah, I'm not.
Anyway, God, I can't think about it. Oh, man. Well,
More Flash news.
what's that?
He didn't get locked up.
Oh, no, this was the,
Michael Shannon.
yeah. This isn't super surprising to me. I feel like,
It's weird though.
I think,
I love Michael Shannon though. He's
I
one of my
think
favorite
the
actors.
original concept that they had for like the Justice League, I feel like they set all that stuff up a long time ago, and they have all these movies that are attached to it, and they're like, we just got to get through these and just get to the other side.
But it's. I think it. I wasn't as shocked to find out that Michael Shannon was coming back as General Zod. I was more shocked that there's more Flash movie news. Like, it doesn't matter what the fuck is happening with Ezra Miller.
Oh, well,
They're gonna find someone else. They're committed.
they have to keep it. They're going to keep moving forward with it.
This
They're
movie's
gonna-
already like.
It's already done.
Yeah, it's already done.
They're gonna act.
This just
like-
came out from CinemaCon that he's in the movie.
Yeah, they're gonna act like nothing happened. They're going to move forward with releasing the movie. They're gonna get what they can.
He's gonna
for it.
show up on the red carpet.
Yeah,
Schmizzed.
they're just gonna cut and run on it. They're not gonna do a Flash 2 probably.
No,
unless for whatever reason it's an absolute blockbuster, and in that case, nobody's gonna care. They'll bring him back. They don't care.
I think people are. I feel like Warner Brothers is like bad news is great news at this point because they don't really have anything to compete with Marvel, and I don't think they're in the game to compete. But they're like, if we want to continue to have blockbuster films, like this is all we got right now. So there's no reason to. There's no reason to.
It's already bought and paid for. They're
Yeah.
just gonna ride it out. They have no other option.
Did we ever find out why he was getting arrested the second time?
I'm not sure. He must live in Hawaii. That must be like where he lives. That must be where he does his stuff. And he must just be wilding out. He got his paychecks, I guess. He's just losing.
That's where he's doing
losing his mind.
drugs. You know how big the the homeless population is down there?
I don't know.
Fun fact. So not a fun fact. It's a sad fact.
Yeah, homeless facts.
Apparently, the homeless population in Hawaii is so big because they have a crazy meth usage. So people
Interesting.
go down there and they like party and do drugs and never leave. And they can't leave because they spent all their money doing drugs and now they're homeless.
And they're on an island.
And now they're on an island.
I gotcha.
And they're like, fuck it, I'll just live on the island and I'll just sleep on the beach. And I hope that's not what Ezra Miller is down there doing.
But
It could be.
probably is.
What if he's actually down there doing the Lord's work? He's rounding up all
definitely
these homeless people.
Definitely not.
He's just kind of a loose cannon, but he's down there rounding up the home people.
Like a Mormon,
He's
like
fighting.
a Mormon missionary.
Trying
He's
to put-
fighting people in the streets at night.
He's an LDS missionary by day, the Flash by night.
He's trying, man. I'm
wouldn't
not
even-
going to count Ezra Miller
I don't
out.
even think he's
I
trying.
feel like the turn of this story is going to come out where he was down there like building a monastery or something. Like he's down there trying to do some good, and he just keeps getting someone's trying to
If
stop
he
him.
was trying to do good, they'd be putting that in the articles alongside all the negative news.
It's my Ezra Miller conspiracy theory.
I mean, I'll allow it. I like it. You want to run through? You got anything else? You want to run through what we've been watching?
Yeah.
All right. I'm deep in on The Girl from Plainville. That's what I've been watching recently.
Saw that. That's HBO.
That's Hulu.
Hulu.
Have you seen any of this?
No.
Okay. This is there was a documentary on HBO about this, because it's a true story of a girl who convinces her boyfriend
Yes.
to kill himself.
Yeah, and then they're trying to.
She like gets him to do it through like text messages and all that stuff.
He's like, "I love you. I'll kill myself for you," and she's like, "Do it."
Yeah, essentially, more or less,
yo.
more or less.
And they're trying to charge her with accessory to murder or suicide,
manslaughter, essentially. Yeah, because anyway, so
she's just like, I didn't think he would do it.
There's a documentary about the real case and trial on HBO.
People be bugging.
And then Hulu came out with like a dramatization, a dramatization of this.
Yeah, so I did see that
situation. It's pretty good. It's not like amazing, but it's okay.
It's like
serviceable. It's interesting. Hulu has put out, I feel like in the last couple of months, they've dropped a couple of shows that are like pretty serviceable.
They're trying, man.
Yeah, they're really.
I forget that Hulu is owned by Disney, so they're
really
gonna
doing their best.
Yeah, they're gonna.
It's like the adult Disney, isn't that the idea behind it? Is where they like do all their like.
Yeah.
That's where like all the rated R, like with the
aggressive
Deadpool
content
stuff,
goes.
Alien,
because
Terminator shit.
because even still, they've done the concept of The Girl from Plainfield, where they've taken a documentary series and adapted it into some type of docudrama.
The Pamela and Tommy.
Yep, that's
Hulu too.
The,
Yep.
Even the Dropout.
Yep, Dropout. We talked about that. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty good. Give it a watch if you're into that kind of thing. Moon Knight, we talked about that. Our Flag Means Death. I keep working through that show slowly but surely. It's fine. It's not amazing.
If you're just tuning in, this is where we do our
okay.
watch list. We just kind of roll through what we've been watching independently.
Yep. The Servant.
You did the season 3, The Servant?
I'm not through it. I'm 4 or 5 episodes in.
Are there any answers to anything that's happening? No,
probably not.
No, it's just more shit happening.
It's an interesting show. Like I enjoy watching it. It's got some very creepy moments.
Did he ever get his taste buds back? Can he taste stuff?
Yeah, he gets those back in the end of season 2.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Have you watched season 2?
Halfway.
Okay.
I gave up.
You wouldn't know then. But yeah, the end
My
of season 2.
favorite character is what's his name from Harry Potter.
Oh, he's great. He's an interesting guy because I feel like out of all of the characters on the show, he's kind of the worst actor.
He's not the best, yeah.
But you also feel like he's just there to have a fun time, and he's just like, this is great. I'm on the show, just doing my thing.
Season 1, they were like, she's crazy. And then like season 2, they're like, we got to keep up the charade.
Yeah.
And then the baby goes missing and shit.
Yes.
The actual baby.
Yes.
But she hasn't. By season 3, has she come around? Mm-mm. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to see this.
No, this is one of those shows. I feel like it is. I'm not comparing it to Severance. I think Severance is a better show overall, but it suffers from the same flaw, and that is that what is going on could be like, it could be anything. It could be unicorns and fairy dust for all you know.
That's the Apple TV shit,
or
man.
Your expectations or what you're tracking with could be accurate, or it could also all be an illusion, or it could all be a simulation.
She's all having this is her nightmare, and we don't know.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where there's just, you're working so hard throughout the show to try to piece it together because you feel like, oh, I'm smart. I can figure this out. They're dropping clues, and I'm a part of this game with them. The truth is, it could all be bullshit. Because it could all they could very well just pull the rug out from underneath of you at any given time and just be like, oh, it's a genius show, and it would be kind of just infuriating from that perspective.
And season 3 is still M. Night Shyamalan, right?
So he is a producer on the show. He's very involved, but he is not like the director or the writer on that show.
He's just showing up.
Now I don't know if it's like his kid or his wife. God. There's somebody in his family who has directed a few episodes because I've seen their name pop up. But yeah, he's not the original I guess, mind behind it. It's something Gillespie or Gillespie.
Seen that name.
Terry Gillespie or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but that's actually the guy that created it and wrote it, and he's very involved in every episode. Like per the credits, you can see that. But
it is Tony Boscolop.
No, Tony, I think is right, but I feel like the last name is something different. Anyway, you're looking at it more than I am, so. I thought it was like Gillespie or Gillespie.
Dizzy Gillespie?
Gillespie?
Is
Gillespie?
Boscolop.
That's the
Maybe.
only
Okay, could be that.
butchering these names.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It's not my strong suit. That's why I printed out all of the characters from the ultimatum so that I wouldn't butcher
After
their names.
season 1, when I was butchering Sarah Paulson's name.
Anyway.
That's a staple in this show.
Yeah, so it's a good show. It's worth a watch. I like it. It's fun. I don't like... It's not a show that I watch live on TV. I watch it once it's all done.
Okay.
It's too frustrating of a show to watch like a week in between. Like I just need to be able to binge that because you know that you're never going to get to the
Right.
answers. So I just want to be able to get through it. Anyway.
We're Baltimore guys. Did you start We Own This City?
Oh, yes. I did.
You did?
Actually, I did watch that. Yeah,
I
we can
did
talk
not.
about that.
I didn't start it.
Oh, you
yet.
didn't start it. Okay, all right. Did you watch it?
You watched
Okay,
it?
all right.
I mean, you guys can talk about it. I don't care. We got Zay filling in for fact checking Josh today. So
I'll do some. Oh man, I thought it started off kind of weak. I thought it ended on a high note. I wasn't fully bought in right out of the gate. It felt a little like low budget right out of the gate. I was kind of like, this feels like they phoned it in a little bit.
ooh.
But I will say that by the time they got to the end of it, I was like, oh, it picks up the momentum it kind of starts to come together a little bit more in the end of the first episode.
Yeah, like the back half of the first episode is really good, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but it comes together of what exactly is going on because the timeline in the beginning of the episode is a little frustrating. You don't know when is now, what's present, what's current, what's 2015.
How is the authenticity of the Baltimore isms, I guess, in the show? Because the Wire was like dead on.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. They do the same thing that The Wire is doing, where the West Side is the East Side and the East Side is the West Side.
Oh, it's flip flopped. Yeah, okay.
Accents are kind of they're okay.
Okay.
I feel like it's a lot harder for the African American actors to duplicate it than it is for the white actors to do it, because the white actors' accents I think are spot on.
I think that's funny you say that, because I think the problem there is when they did The Wire, they actually got people from Baltimore, where I haven't seen this yet. Because the casting director is from here for The Wire, was like, actually, what's her name? She works out of the Broom Factory down off of what is that? Broadway, Boston Street. And so like they came and consulted with her, and like she went out and was like, I'm doing casting calls for this show, it's new HBO, and like, of course, like the higher tiered roles were filled by Idris Elba and Wood Harris and who's the guy that played McNulty. But then like the supporting cast, like Snoop and all those people, they were actually like from Baltimore, so it gave it some authenticity. I was just wondering, like, in this, how does that compare to The Wire?
So, extras,
Great.
they're familiar Baltimore faces.
Oh yeah,
but as far as highly billed
the
roles,
meat of it,
doesn't seem like it.
It is what it is. But overall, you guys gonna keep watching it?
Absolutely.
Then I'll tune in. I'll watch it tonight.
I think so.
I mean, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not bought in until I got.
How's John Barenthal?
End of it.
Is he good in it? The Punisher?
Yeah, so his character it's interesting. He was part of the reason why, like in the beginning, I was like, this seems a little corny and forced to me.
He seems forced in the trailer.
Then it kind of all settles in a little bit. Like I said, by the end, you kind of get it. But I feel like that is something that can be
Fixed.
reminiscent of a lot of shows where like when you're getting to know characters and you're also getting to know like the cadence of the show and kind of the writing and like the style of it, things can feel weird in the beginning.
Yeah.
But like when you're like an episode or two in and you kind of have gotten like where they're going with it, it feels more intentional and more like all correct.
Yeah, and it's also very accurate so far from like what the first episode shows to like the precursor to things that actually happen.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, We Own the City on HBO is a true story based on the assassination of
the Gun Trace Task Force.
Yes, Gun Trace Task Force. Sorry, I'm thinking of the other story because that was supposed to be a show too. Mm-hmm. So this isn't about that. This is about the gun.
Yeah, this is about gun trace.
Okay. So I'm confused.
That entire task force. So it expands from what's happening in the city to all the way about what happens to up in Hartford County, and how that whole task force comes together, and how the Baltimore part of the task force corrupts things.
Of course,
as they do.
Classic. Okay. All right. Well, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, all of it looks like Baltimore. I'm sure many aspects. I don't know how much of it was shot in Baltimore versus
I think
wasn't, but
from what I can see in specific areas, like there's one specific scene where like they're showing West Belvedere, like at West Belvedere and in Garrison. Right, well, not at Garrison. West Belvedere and Pimlico.
Got it.
They're showing that as the Alameda, and so I could tell that it's.
So I like
shot that
us
on location
being from here. We're like,
Yeah.
no, that's not right. That doesn't line
I don't
up.
know. Like there were. So you obviously saw this. So the Red Roof Inn up on Timonium, right?
What?
So like
that's in it? Oh my god!
So I drive past that all of the time, so I know it really
Right?
well. And so when they were there, I was like trying to like spot like where like however, and I don't know. It's pretty accurate.
Okay.
So when they
Because like 83 is like
Right
it is
there.
right.
It's right there.
Like,
You can
see it.
Yeah, that is all accurate. So if
Nice.
it's not the Red Roof Inn, they did a good job finding one that was like
Or they dressed
Yeah,
up
no.
a place to kind of reset
It
the
looks
location.
correct.
no, it looks like that.
it looks
Red Roof.
correct.
Okay.
So my guess is they maybe filmed it.
Good
there.
shit. HBO. I mean, it's HBO. I wouldn't expect for them to.
I mean, they have filmed a lot in Baltimore. Like they are. It's not like they don't do work here. So
Yeah.
it's not surprising. Fun fact. Are we done with that?
Yeah.
Anything else?
We're good.
We
We're
can
good.
end this on
We're
like
good.
a little bit of a fun fact. Have you ever been to W.C. Harlan?
That
Are you
sounds
familiar with it? It's a
familiar.
speakeasy in Remington.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been there. It's
Okay.
like in the tuck. Like
Yes,
in
it's like in a neighborhood. You're like walking through row homes, then you go into like some
and
side
then
door and it's a
boom.
bar. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yes.
That's a deep cut.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So they HBO did some like tests there for True Detective season 1 because they were originally going to film aspects of True Detective season 1 at WC Harlan.
Is it still there, WC Harlan?
It is, yes. It was closed down for a very long time. And they recently reopened, obviously due to the whole pandemic thing. Now, the only reason I know this True Detective fact is because I talked to somebody at WC Harlan about maybe filming something there at some point for like a friend's like music video or something like that. And we were like just kind of going back and forth about all of that. And
Was it a rap video?
No. JW. And but they were
JW
like
finds
they were
his
like
way into
yeah
every
they were
episode.
like they were like yeah we had he was like recently we had HBO here, they were doing screen tests for this show True Detective, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And yeah, and obviously True Detective happened, so
Oh, nice.
but yeah, that's what I got.
What's my watch list? Moon Knight, we talked about it.
Yep.
Winning Time, they're just basically making Magic Johnson out to be a whore. Snowfall is wrapping up tonight.
Okay,
Started Tokyo Vice.
how's that? I've not started that yet. We talked about this last time, but
Slow in the beginning and ramps up mid-episode. So it's basically a white American wants to become a crime reporter in Japan. So he moves, he assimilates the entire culture, learns Japan, like takes the like Japanese crime reporter SAT exam, like whatever that shit is.
Yep.
And then like he makes it onto the staff
big,
of the paper.
Of the big newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then he gets into the shit like immediately. So the show picks up with him like having to go meet with like the Yakuza or some wild shit.
Okay.
Like, and then from
All
there,
in.
yeah. And then from there, it kind of backlogs how he got here.
Got you.
And
I gotta be honest, not to cut you off.
go ahead.
I don't like stories that do that. I don't like it when shows show me something and then they're like, let's spend 3 episodes figuring out how we got here.
That happens
I'm
a
like,
lot.
no,
on
don't do
HBO.
that. Like, don't drop me into the heat of the
So-
moment and then be like, let's go back 4 days early.
So like
4 days earlier.
so the opening of the first episode is him at a later stage in life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably at least 20 years after he starts his career.
Yeah, he's like into it when
And
it
he's
starts.
sitting down with a Yakuza boss who looks like he's known for a very long time.
Okay.
And then it takes you back to the beginning.
Gotcha.
And the whole show is back from
Like
where-
literally his beginning.
literally from before the day before he takes the test.
Yeah.
All right.
But
And
it
I-
quickly chronicles him meeting up with the Yakuza, finding a police officer who's a connect for him, and slowly showing him being into this is how being a news reporter in Japan works.
Gotcha.
I think that I was going to speak to that point exactly. I think the interesting part about his journey is there's one instance in the show where he really gets onto his path.
Yeah.
And I guess his mentor or whatever, and he says, it's not a spoiler, but it will kind of give you context into,
Spoil it, dude. Let's go.
he says, there is no murder in Japan.
Yeah.
Got you.
And that's when it clicks. I'm like, oh, so everyone's in on this. Like there's no, yeah, he's like, there's no murder in Japan.
plot thickens.
Yeah. So like everyone is in on everything that happens in Japan. And it's done in a way where like, okay, yeah, we have a job to do, but we're not here to accuse anyone. Like that's not what we're here to do. We're just here to talk about literally the facts. And that's where you can kind of see the contrast with like American journalism, where they say, oh,
Yeah.
it's always there's always an implication with American journalism.
There's no writing style.
Yeah,
it's all very uniform.
Yeah.
These are the facts. You only write what the police say. You
Yeah,
only write the facts.
right.
You don't write their opinions. If they say they have a suspect, then you write the suspect's name. If they don't have a suspect, you don't write any speculation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's good. It starts
All right.
slow, but it's good.
All right. I'll have to check it out. Very good. Anything else?
My boring. Oh, I think I did this last week, and I asked you, do you have a show that watches you?
Oh.
And I started a new one.
Yeah. What's that?
Our Great National Parks on Netflix, narrated by Barack Obama. Barrio.
Okay.
I told you, I'm a big fan of like the David Attenborough, Planet Earth.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. the
it's my late night zone out. I can like read something, watch it, scroll through
Yeah.
my phone, have, short conversation with my wife or whatever. So, but this is awesome because it literally does the same things like as Planet Earth. And I think David Attenborough's kind of giving it up because he's like 98 or some shit like right now. He's super old. No, I mean like factually. See how old David Attenborough is. So I kind of think he's like passed the torch to Barack Obama. Just wow.
In some secret meeting, they just
Yeah.
were like, okay, this
He's
is
like,
the future.
This is you. You're up. And
Here's the torch.
Barry does a
Jesus
good job,
Christ.
man. How old is he?
95 years old.
Good
Yeah, he's old as
Lord.
fuck.
At the beginning of time.
And like when over the pandemic they did Our Planet, which chronicled the Earth being shut down.
Yeah.
I think in the editor's pick or whatever, like the after thing, he's like, being able to be 95 years old and still get outside and like do this was like big for him.
Damn.
So, but like our great national parks is what they do is they go and they chronicleize the wildlife in all of the national parks around the earth.
Yeah.
Like they did, like the rainforest, and you know that planet. So it's good. I enjoyed it. It's my late night show after I want to check out.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thoughts on the American Prairie Bourbon? Why don't you offer up some words on that, and I'll offer up
this. I've
final
had
topic.
one glass. This is my second glass.
Second glass.
And I'm okay. I had some dental work this morning, so which is why if you hear me speaking with like a lisp or whatever, I'm kind of like
Burns in a different way.
yeah. But it hits kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's not harsh. It has a light taste. I think it's cool, man. I think this is a good. I'm having some boys over. We're just going to drink and like talk shit like what we're doing here.
It's fine.
It's good. It's fine. Yeah.
It's not the best bourbon out there.
It's not.
Thoughts?
It's good. It's definitely you get that standard bourbon bite that you get from it normally.
Yep.
And that's stark contrast to what we had last week, which was the Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden.
Yes.
That's probably about 100 proof.
Yeah.
Whereas Basil Hayden was 80.
And
Yeah.
then
So-
didn't have the
Little
same
bit,
bite.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
less
But
bite.
so it gives you that like standard bourbon bite. The flavor notes are there, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Listen to this
fine.
fucker.
I love that.
Flavor notes.
All right. So,
I love it.
final topic. We're not really doing a villain this week. We'll kind of do a villain though.
You got one?
No, not really. Yeah, kind of. But
Give it to me.
all right, it's not really a villain, not in my opinion. But feel free to offer your thoughts. What are your? Because this is just a hot topic.
It's a villain.
pop culture. Twitter being bought by Elon Musk.
I meant to put that in the show notes. I'm sorry.
Or in the process of being bought by Elon Musk. There's people out there that think that it
Well,
might not
you know,
actually happen. But
I saw that he's pulled out.
I have yet to see that.
I saw some-
So I've seen a lot of articles. There are some that are saying he's doing some things intentionally to try to void essentially the sale of it because it came out like there's this piece, I guess, in the SEC filing where Twitter basically said that Elon like cannot say anything bad about the board or disparagingly about the company essentially. So like he can't talk shit. And Elon has continued to do that. Now, there's a couple
not
of
surprising.
There's a couple of theories on this. So like some people think that Elon is intentionally trying to provoke the SEC. That like he
Yes.
is going out there and doing things intentionally
course.
to try to get them to do something.
He did it with
because he's trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect or that argument to it. Some people are saying, oh, well, he's trying to do this so that the like sale will get essentially like voided or whatever, because if the contract stipulates that he can't talk shit about them and he does talk shit about them, then it basically voids the contract, which maybe Elon's trying to do intentionally. Or like so there's a certain level of conspiracy to it all. It seems to me that, in my opinion, it seems like he's pretty serious about trying to buy it, given the things that he has put on the line to do it. And he continuously talks about it as if he's going to make it happen. And he has a track record, generally speaking, of making things happen, whether or not he should or shouldn't, TBD, or that's up to everybody, their own opinion. But he does seem to be able to, make some things happen. Like if you were to say to me like he couldn't do it and he was like, oh, I'll do it, I would probably say, oh, he'll do it. He'll
look
find a way.
At Elon, like not a villain, but the guy at the party that you dare to do something,
Yeah.
and he'll be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's how I look at him. Like, but we're not daring you to do it because we want you to do it. We're daring you to do it because we know you are idiotic enough to fucking do it. So I think for him, the challenge of someone, I literally think it's probably a challenge. The challenge of buying Twitter is a complete sham. I don't think it's actually gonna happen, but I don't think it's actually gonna happen because of legalities, like what you said.
Got you. Okay.
But I do think him putting forth the motion to do it was a low-key egotistical challenge. Like, y'all don't think I can do this shit? Watch this.
So the way you view him is kind of that guy in the movie who's like, yeah, I'll do it. And things don't kind of go as planned.
And then
I kind of see him as like the Tony Stark character.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I will, it'll get done.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't,
oh well.
Whatever. It's just crazy that he can just put up a $44 billion offer.
I think in my opinion, I think he buys
crazy.
it. I think he pulls it off. He tends to be able to figure this stuff out. I think
he is a genius.
Yeah, like I think he'll figure it out. I think his intentions, in my opinion, I think are relatively genuine. Whether or not you agree with them is a different thing. I think in his mind, I think he sees like freedom of speech as like a really important thing. I think he sees Twitter as the town square. Again, whether or not you agree with all those things, TBD or whatever, like you can debate that. But I think in his mind, he feels like he's doing the honorable and noble thing. And I think he's willing to put his money behind it to make it happen. So I think that that's all probably pretty genuine. And I do think on the other side of that coin, I do think Twitter is a like really undervalued like platform, in my opinion, like stock price wise. And I think I do think there's money to be made in Twitter.
I saw an interesting take on why he's going to try and purchase Twitter, because he feels like, again, to your point, what you're saying, that Twitter is the voice of the people, because it is like tweets are literally now chronicalized in the Library of Congress if you are if you got a blue check.
Sure.
That's you. So now we can use what you've said as
Yes.
a factual
Yes.
statement. So he's looking at it like, I need to be able to protect this platform at all costs.
Yep.
And I read like he's going to do all these things. He's going to buy Twitter, and then he is going to be able to run Twitter outside of the traditional internet memes, and you won't need traditional internet access to use Twitter, because he's going to broadcast it off of SpaceX satellites.
Interesting.
See what I'm saying? Like he's going to be able to
Like it could be something that even circumvents like traditional means.
like if the internet were to ever like
yeah,
it's hard to say the internet, but
it could be like a radio service, like an emergency kind of thing.
Right.
Like it would live beyond.
it would
like,
live outside of what we know now as the internet. Which is such a crazy theory.
Sure.
But
it's not
it's
surprising.
doable. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's wild is that it's doable.
It's doable. And for somebody like Elon, who's so outspoken about the right to free speech for not only himself, but for like everyone.
Yeah.
I think it's a play where it has international implications.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Like super international implications, because now if you don't need the internet, citizens in China and Russia can no longer be censored.
Yeah, or what about like North Korea?
He's using it.
Like what if your phone could just tap into it outside of your cellular provider or outside of Wi-Fi? Like what if satellites could ping that information to like just to your device?
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but Apple is working towards you getting their devices with satellite service, right? So even if you don't have a cellular provider, their services that they provide, the native iMessage, Find My,
would work outside of it.
That stuff, like a sat phone,
that stuff would still work. You can still be able to find your phone. You can still use maps. You can still use blah 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 without being attached to your carrier and using data.
Yeah.
So let's say now we got these devices that don't need cellular service, right?
Yeah.
And we have these platforms that don't need data or internet, the information highway, to work because they're on sat service. You've changed the entire landscape of communication.
Yeah.
Which is
pretty remarkable.
We're on the verge of a new internet.
Yeah. Yep. All right. I think that's it, man.
I love ending on a conspiracy theory.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Gets me going.
We'll follow up. Next week, we'll talk more about Elon Musk and Twitter because we'll see it's changing every day.
Well, now he's at least $1 billion in because he's at a point where if he pulls out of the deal, it's going to cost him at least $1 billion.
I think he's all in. I think he means it. I really, really do. And I think that, again, I think Twitter is undervalued as it is. I know everyone thinks that like he's just wasting money on buying Twitter.
No,
it's
absolutely
super possible he buys this and makes a ton of money off of it.
So now
especially if you can get it working off of the internet. You get it working off the internet. He's the first platform to provide advertisement that doesn't work on regular platforms.
It's one of the original social networks. It's completely undervalued. It is not. It predates Instagram, TikTok. I mean, it predates a lot of what Facebook even offered. Realistically, like this is one of the OGs.
Yeah, I think there was like MySpace, and then this.
That was it. It was MySpace and Twitter.
Yeah. Little to no development, or like Twitter has been mishandled. Obviously, they did Vines and then that failed, but like they should have just integrated everything into Twitter. Like Twitter should have been dominating video, audio. It should be like the main platform with podcasting. It really could have been.
It's like Twitter, and Twitter is still the one place where you have the most freedom.
Yeah, and even the most information. Like I can find news.
You can find anything,
real time news,
and more people use it, which is the interesting thing. I feel like more people use it as just like a source of reading content.
Yeah,
even that like I use Twitter every day.
It's my news.
I don't. It's interesting. Like I don't actually participate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I read it, and I feel like most people I know digest Twitter in the same way.
Yeah,
so
Twitter's
how do
the
you?
Newspaper.
Yeah, like, but why not? Like, how do you get people back involved, like back and invested in it, like they are in Instagram or TikTok or whatever? It seems like it wouldn't take much because it feels like everybody is already tapped into it.
The best analogy I can give you in this point would kind of be the stock market.
Yeah,
it's archaic, but it works.
Yeah, it's like a sleeping giant. Yeah. I think if you were to pull the right levers behind Twitter, it would just be massive, and because it has the user.
And I'm gonna be honest. If you could, I think one thing that would help Twitter is if I don't know why Jack Dorsey didn't do this, which I'm interested in what his play into just so easily. Oh, Elon wants to buy it. Let him have it.
Because Elon's gonna give us an edit button.
No, Elon is gonna give us an edit button. But why Jack never integrated the peer-to-peer aspect of Cash App onto Twitter? Because that changes the game.
Yeah, because he's on Square too. Yeah.
Some people think that Jack Dorsey's going to come back.
Well,
as
you
CEO.
can tip people now on Twitter. Like if you open that feature, if I like your content that you exclusively put on Twitter, I can send you a $1. I think.
Have you seen the Twitter like live thing where you can like have like live chat rooms, where you're like talking, and like everybody can hop in and like
kind of like
it's pretty cool. It's kind of like Clubhouse.
It's like Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
It's pretty sweet. I've hopped on a few of them and it is pretty cool. But again, it should be like. They should be leading those things.
Like they should have bought Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And took what Clubhouse is doing, integrated into Twitter, because Clubhouse is a much better interface for that type of thing.
They don't even need to buy Clubhouse. They could just imitate it. Like they're not like just steal it.
Well, they could buy them and then I think you can use your API kit to log in from Twitter and just log into Clubhouse.
I believe so, but even I forgot what the spaces on Twitter. That's what they're called. They're called spaces.
Yes.
Spaces.
When Clubhouse first became popular, and you still needed the invite to get in and all of that thing and all that stuff, I loved it. It was a great space because it was almost like it was what Twitter was.
It was a new thing. It was
10 years ago. It was everyone saying everything. There was nothing off limits, filters. No filter. But Spaces, when Twitter came out with it, it was beta tested. Not everybody had it. You had to have a certain follower count to get it. It was just like, if you're going to do this to compete, you have to do this with everyone. Because the beauty of Twitter is even if you have one follower, there's somebody looking at your content.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what Twitter's Twitter now. You know what I mean? Like it's a public, like They're on the stock market. They've got hundreds of millions, maybe trillions of people signed up. So there's
Definitely not trillions.
not trillions.
Yeah, there's not trillions. Well, there aren't trillions of people in the world, so.
You're right. That's the hockey right there. But yeah, you got millions of people signed up. So that's the ultimate website value is people equal advertising dollars. So yeah, there's that. But I don't know, man. I ain't got it. I ain't got a 44 billion to buy.
All right.
I wish I did.
Well, until next week. All right.
Until next
All
week.
good?
All good. Cheers.